If you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on. Just saying, Solomon sakes, I don't want to wake you up and like you be sleeping this and that, and like have like seashells on the seashore, like rip me a new one. You know what I'm saying? So I keep it short, like keep it peace. If you want to come through, talk to today about West Ham Street,
Street Elites, by the fans, for the fans. Remember to like, share, subscribe and ring the notification bell for all future content. Come on, you irons! Don't forget, like, subscribe, share the content and tickle that bell. Hello and welcome back to Green Street Elite Stroke Random, West Ham Random. Morning, Cieran. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Budgie. How you doing, sir?
Really I'm all right, mate. Thank you very much. As you can see, we have the old familiar background behind us, football Unfocused. As I said, we're recording this on Green Street Elite, but we will be uploading it to West Ham Random for the viewing. I mean, it's not going to be released on the GST, which is using my facilities to record. How's your last couple of weeks been, mate? It's been pretty naughty for me.
Yeah, it's been a really tough couple of weeks, mate. I've sort of I've gone a bit reclusive with it in a lot of ways, you know, because of the shock of Peachy. Yeah. And when you see how much he meant to a lot of people, and to us, you know, we spent a lot of time with him over the last couple of years, and it's so hard to know that that's not happening anymore. You know, you're not getting that feedback from him and that annoyance from him, and all the things that annoyed you about him you miss now, and all the things you loved about him you miss. And it's been pretty tough. It's been a pretty tough couple of weeks too. And I'm sort of I'm probably a hard-skinned sort of geezer, you know. And I find, you know, I don't open up very often.
No,
but this one cut me a bit. You know, for someone I've never met, it cut me a little bit. You know, it really did. And
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw the little video tribute I uploaded to Random. You could see from that I was visibly shaken, and that was after like a week of finding out that Peach had passed, and I thought I'd given myself enough time to be able to speak without that extra emotion, but that was impossible, and I still can't do it now. You know, it's very difficult now to even talk about Peach without a burst of emotion running through me. You know, we've lost a good friend far, far, far too early.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, although I know how much we're feeling it and we're feeling the pain and that, we've got to remember that his parents and his family are they're going to be burning even worse than us.
One of the things I think of more than it doesn't matter how I feel, whatever. It's nothing compared to what his family and parents are feeling, and they're losing a child, and their only child, and it must be the most heartbreaking thing in the world, because I remember when I had two of my brothers die in their 40s, you know, and my mother was still alive, and it you know, it was so hard for her to lose two of her sons, you know, unexpectedly. You know, at an early age, it really did have an effect on her and all of us. But I knew how much it meant. It really did cut her, you know, really, really badly. She was not the same after that. There was so much sadness around. You know, you know, the both of them went, you know, within 6 months of each other, and her pain was so evident in everything. You know, so I can imagine the pain that Barney and Peach's mum are going through, because it would be terrible for them. And I'm hoping they come out the other side and have some positives about it. I really do. I really feel for them.
Yeah, I know for a fact that support and you know all um, the messages of condolence and etc. etc. I know that they are bringing some comfort to the parents, you know, to Barney and Mama Peach. They're bringing some comfort to them. Obviously, you know, no words, no actions will ever replace their son, but
No.
you know, at least they're reaching out to us, you know, to us as a community, the West Ham community, knowing how important it was to their son. And you know, also, I believe they realise how much you know, he meant to us, and I believe they know how important it is to us about, you know, to be able to talk about him, to be able to reminisce on the times that we had with him, you know. And I think that's important for them as well, you know. It helps with their recovery as well as ours, you know. You know, I really do believe that, you know, these messages of condolence and, you know, offers of assistance or anything, you know, don't stop them coming, you know. Keep doing it, everybody.
Yeah, I think it does help. I'm not. I find. I said I've sort of gone into a shell a bit since it's happened, because I find it tough to talk about, you know, and I find it tough to be positive, because it affects you, you know. And
and it was such what's the word I want to use? It hit with such a hard impact. You know, it kind of sent a tsunami of emotion around the world. You know, and I think that would probably make Pete smile, and you know, he would probably be quite embarrassed by this, you know, shower of emotion.
That's right. Yeah, he probably would. He'd say,
also,
"You fucking prick, get yourself together, get on with it."
You know, yeah, he would. But he would also be proud to know that he'd reached the hearts of so many people. That was always his aim. Always. You know, he allowed people into his heart so easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely right, Budgie.
And, you know, what can you say? You know, the guy was a legend. A legend in my lifetime, anyway, that's for sure.
I've never had anyone that could affect me that much that I've never even met personally.
No,
you know, that shows the measure of what he did to people. And I said that when we first done I know it was Raw, and just afterwards when we done that show, and I said I remember him being in the chats where everybody would gravitate to him when he came in, you know.
Oh God, yeah.
Even before he went on camera, he had
yeah,
that.
yeah,
He had that.
yeah. I kind of look back at some of the old streams that yourself and Charlie and a few other people have mentioned, Gatesy and that. And I've looked and like I've watched the live chat replays, because that's available on quite a lot of his videos. And like you said, there'd be some quite popular people in the chat, like yourself or Becca or Katie K or someone like that, and you would get half a dozen, maybe 8 people, 10 people, maybe even sending you a greeting, hello, how are you, that kind of stuff.
Everyone
And
there.
there could be 170 odd people in the chat, and 90% of them will say hi, Peach. And it was just incredible the amount of people that gravitated towards him. It was really, quite. I believe now he'll be sitting up there, contemplating his life and that, and he'll be warmed. He'll be warmed by that. I believe that anyway. I believe that he would love the fact that we all have very special emotions and memories of him.
We do.
Should we move on a little bit? I mean, it's a bit of a hard subject for me to keep talking about, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. We'll move on.
Let's move on to another subject.
Let's just leave it up. Peachy knows we love him, and we're gonna miss him.
And we'll continue to know that as well, because I don't believe that anybody will stop actually talking about him. And as a mark of respect, that picture, that image up in the top corner, the little logo, I'm going to use that on Football Unfocused every time we record it, Cieran, and other shows as well. So he'll always be with us in the studio.
Always.
You know what I mean?
Always be there.
So let's move on a little bit. Another subject that Pete used to love chatting about was the first game of the season. He always loved to kind of have a massive build up, like when we had the international break last season, after the summer break last season, at the beginning of the season, Peach's enthusiasm was running riot. Let's be honest, it ran riot.
Yeah. No, I think the year Man City beat us 5-0. I'm pretty sure he predicted us to beat them 4-0.
Yeah. He was always positive about, optimistic about our fortune.
I mean, seriously optimistic, right? In predictions, but what I am looking forward to, Budge, is the return of the Premier League. Not just West Ham, but the actual. We've got real football on board and competitive football.
Yes. I mean, these pre-match friendlies, it gives you a bit of football to watch, but it's not good football. Yeah. It's not what you expect to find in the league or in any of the cup competitions that we are in, which is all of them at this moment in time, obviously at the beginning of the season. Did you, talking of like the beginning of the season, I mean, obviously, the curtain opener is obviously the Charity Shield. Did you watch that game?
I see the highlights. Yeah, I didn't get the live thing here, Budge, but I did get the highlights of it, and I watched that. But, I don't read too much into that myself. It's the Charity Shield at the end of the day.
But it is still the first piece of recognisable silverware of the season. So to get that under their belt, Liverpool are probably in a decent position mentally now, with their preparation and stuff, having gone out there and won that so convincingly.
I think, Budgie, if you look at it's good for Liverpool. I think it's really good for Liverpool to have won it, but I don't think it will bother Man City one little bit. at all.
Oh no. Their eyes are definitely on, the Champions League and the Premier League. Probably not in that order, but perhaps they will be because, City have never lifted to the Champions League, so that probably would be a priority for them this season.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, but still, usually, Pep Guardiola will tell you, you take care of the league first, and then you try and win any cup you can. And the Champions League is the one that's evaded him for a while, and I do believe he'll make a push for it. And now he's got Haaland.
With any other teams? Yes, isn't he?
What's that? Yeah, but not with Man City.
Yeah. So it's obviously that's going to be a point of contention for him personally, as well as for the club.
I think so. I think that's the trophy he'd love to win with Man City that he hasn't done yet.
I would imagine they'll probably put that extra 10% of effort into it this year that they've been lacking. They saved that 10% of effort for the league. I reckon this year they'll probably throw caution to the wind and just go for it. Do you know what I mean?
But look, I think if you'd done a poll, Budge, there wouldn't be many of us that wouldn't believe if we said who's going to win the league this year. There'd only be about maybe 10% would say Liverpool or someone else. Most of us would say Man City. They're still an absolute amazing team, an amazing squad, and now they brought Haaland in as well. It doesn't bode well for everyone else. So
no, but in these pre-season games, Haaland has looked less than brilliant. You know what I mean? He hasn't looked that good.
No, but I don't read. I don't read too much into pre-season games. As West Ham, I think have looked woeful in some of our pre-season games. But I'm not going to read anything into them. I'm going to wait till the season starts and then judge our team. And hopefully we're a lot better than our pre-season.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. Also, there's a matter of what's his name? Sterling having gone as well from City. Now, I know a lot of people aren't massively keen on Sterling or the way he plays. I happen to be fearful of that bloke every time he steps out on the field. To me, he has that presence of, anything can happen, much in similar sort of style to the way, Jermaine Defoe used to when he was playing at his top level. You could never tell what that man could produce. Do you know what I mean?
Sterling's one of them. He can be a really frustrating player, right? He can be. But he's a goal scorer, and he's that quick and that fast. He will score goals. He'll miss a few too that he should score. But he will get you goals, mate. He will get you goals. And if they unloaded...
the more he scores, the more he system. He's a dangerous sod. And, although we haven't got to worry about that this weekend, it's not going to be very long before we are facing him again, when he plays his, game for us against with Chelsea. I mean, who would have pictured that? Sterling,
and not only that, Bud, you had Jesus go to Arsenal, who's been banging him in for fun in their pre-season. So this is where Man City are. They can release.
Even though, last night I really weren't that complimentary about Arsenal's pre-season from what I've seen of it, because they did have a couple of woeful games at the beginning of their pre-season. But since they signed Jesus, in fact, their pre-season has gone from poor to absolutely stunning.
Not judge too much on that, but when you look at the likes of Man City, who can unload, Sterling and Jesus, and still believe they can win the league, and still get 50 million. He's got 1 year left on his contract, Jesus, and still got 50 million for him. This is, this is what good business Man City do.
And I think that price tag is the only reason that David Moyes didn't have a little sniff around. Or, we're not aware of him having a sniff around with Jesus. Although some people in the media and on Twitter and places like that would have linked us to Jesus only purely because he was available. But,
I presume Arsenal are paying him an absolute ridiculous wage that West Ham
God, it's got to be 180
would never pay. I don't know what it is, Bud, but we wouldn't pay it.
It's got to be over. I would say it's got to be well over 150. I would have thought.
Well over, I'd say. Yeah. Well over.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't.
So on Saturday, on Sunday this week, which will be tomorrow, as you're watching this on YouTube, we've got our first game of the season, home game against Man City. For me, quite poignant because last season, even though I didn't get to that many games, I got to 11. Man City was the last game I did go to at home, so I'm kind of watching the return of that. Tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Well, yeah, it will be tomorrow.
It was back to back for you, Bud, didn't it?
Yeah, back to back home game against City. Now, I've never seen a team worth £1 billion before in my life. I did last season, and I'm going to this week. So it's kind of for old school fans like us, Kieran. When we're looking at the likes of, the players that we brought in, Kevin Keane, for example, and even as sort of recently as Kevin Nolan. I mean, I expected him to be as good as he was when he came to the club, But when you look at City and the price tags on most of their players, it just beggars belief, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And for an old school fan like me, who struggle on 28 quid a week to get up to a game,
if
you see these
there's always a way, isn't there, to compete? There's always a way. What you got to find is how to compete with a team with what they've got. And when the last game you went to, and we went 2-0 up, what you saw there was Man City using the squad that they've got and using their power and changing things and bringing it back to 2-2, then getting a penalty, and it could have been 3-2, but the penalty was missed or saved, and they battered us because they've got that on the bench. They can change things that ain't working, and that makes.
You got to also in that you got to acknowledge the input from the manager.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's not just a case of changing personnel. It's about where that personnel is put, and what role they play. And Pep's very good at getting a performance out of his subs. Very good at it.
And that's why the likes of Man City,
the best in the world at it.
They bring in one of the best managers in the world to do that job.
Like his tactical approach when it comes to substitutions, I mean, I've seen him with Kevin De Bruyne on the bench before now, and he's not used him because he hasn't been able to. He hasn't needed to.
He does it with all of them, mate. He's been blood in Foden for about 3 years now. I still give him limited amount of game time because he knows what he can do when he comes off the bench.
I think that's the approach that David Moyes is taking with Ben Johnson. But you see, in his position, Foden, he's kind of he's not unique, but he has a unique ability about him, I think.
Yeah, mate. I think the boy, if he ain't a star already, Budge, he's going to be a superstar.
Oh, yeah, of course. And when he starts, playing regularly for for the England team, that's when also, you'll see a lot more focus on him. You know, he'll probably be the new darling of the England squad, won't he? Because of his
I think so.
ability and his impact.
I think the boy's destined
Like
for.
Gascoigne, when Gascoigne played for the England squad. He was focus of attention because of what he was capable of. And also, a lot of the focus on Gascoigne was because of his behaviour. But, you don't seem to have that problem with Foden.
But anyway, yeah, bollocks to Man City. We're going to beat them 5-0. No, we're not.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, we're up against it. We're up against it come the first game of the season. We're up against it. I don't believe we can win it. I really don't. I think we're going to lose by a couple of goals. But I'm glad to get it out of the way if that's the case.
Yeah, the one thing I am happy about, though, is that they've scheduled our game so that it's live on TV.
Yeah.
And we don't very often get our first game televised. Because normally our first game is away to someone like Newcastle or Fulham or whatever, so it's not considered to be high value game for the TV. Whereas this year, our first home game is against the reigning champions. So that's a game they have to cover. And I'm quite happy about that.
I think it's a 1 a.m. kick-off for me, Budge. So,
well, also, I think there's going to be a little bit more of a lean towards our games this season, because even though the pub that I go to are only showing one or two before Christmas, that's only because our games are like clashing with Liverpool. So I'll get to see the Man City game and I'll get to see the Liverpool game before Christmas over at the pub. Well, in fact, I'm going to be going to the stadium to watch the City game, so I won't be watching that one in the pub. So before Christmas, I'll only probably get to see one West Ham game in the pub, which will be the Liverpool game, which is a bit of a shit because it's a Liverpool pub now. Now that the landlord's Liverpool and he's been there 5 years or more, he's got a lot of Liverpool support in there now. So that's going to be a difficult one because there's only like 4 or 5 West Ham in there. One of them's barmaid. So yeah, we'll have to make sure we're heard for that one.
The good side for me about that is, Budge, because the mob I'm linked to here, what you pay for the pay per view thing, is I get every Premier League game live, every one, and so I can watch as much or as little as I want to, when it comes to the Premier League. Yeah, and then and I can watch a highlight show too. So it's up to me. So that's one good.
So and I know that look, judging by last season, like I said, we had a fantastic season last season. I don't care what anyone else says. I think we had a fantastic
absolutely.
season. It exceeded the expectations for me. I gave us, to the quarterfinals of the Europa. Thought we'd be gone by then, or in the quarterfinals. I never expected us to be fighting to get into the final in the semis.
We done well. We faded a bit right at the end, Budge. But to me that was to be expected. But we've got a good team. Two good teams.
A very good team, very strong, and very explosive in attack. I mean, they're a team that, we've done brilliantly to get where we did. We've done well in the Carabao Cup. We knocked Man City out of it. The 4-time in succession record holders, because they're the only club that have ever done that. 5 calendar years, 4 seasons They held that title. We took that away from them. So, you know, that's something to be proud of. We finished in the European places again in the league. We beat the likes of Liverpool 3-2. We beat the likes of Chelsea 3-2.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we had an
moment.
amazing season. You know,
And to get six,
and also it also falls down to the fact that we have this I don't know what you call it, a spectre on our shoulder when it comes to Brighton. We just
something wrong, isn't it?
To be able to beat the Bardos, you know.
They are a pain in the arse, aren't they? They really are.
Yeah, they are. You know, they had a good season themselves last season, so you know they did really well against the likes of City and that as well. I'm really looking forward to this season, Cieran. I think we've got a lot to be proud of for last season, but I think we've got a lot more to show us encouragement this season because of the new signings. Yes, it's unfortunate that Agard will be out for anything up to 6 months, I've been led to believe. But, you know, when he does come in, it'll be like having a January signing for me.
It will be now.
Yeah. But
I'm just hoping I look forward to the season more if we add to this squad in the next 4 weeks or so and put another 3 or 4 players. Then I really will be excited.
Yeah. I think we need to add another 3, perhaps 4, maybe one decent, purchase, one, kind of squad player purchased, sort of like another Ryan Fredericks type player, if you know what I mean. A squad player, true squad player. And perhaps a couple of loan signings,
But whether they come on loan, it doesn't bother me whether we buy them or come on loan. But they're up to standard, I do believe we need a left back, and I do believe we need a left winger. That's what I'd love to see come in to the club. But with that corner, it might be a loan signing. It doesn't bother me whether he's a loan or not. I just want somebody on that left wing that can do a left winger's job. And I would love to see a left back to cover Cresswell. And if we got them 2, I'd be happy. An extra body would be lovely.
Yeah. I think that if we've got a left back and somebody to cover that left wing, maybe another central midfielder, and perhaps another attacking-minded player, I think we'll probably be better off. I can see what people are saying about we need another centre back. Has Diop gone?
No, I don't think he has. At this stage, I don't think he has. Yeah. We've lost King Arthur, who's gone to Besiktas. And, on loan for.
And remember, a loan deal is only ever a loan deal until the parent club wants him back.
No, but we have loaned him for the season. So we can't take him back, apparently.
We can if we return our money.
But I think he was loaned out with the deal that Besiktas like him, they'll want to buy him, and we'll sell him. Basically, I don't think you'll see Arthur play in a West Ham shirt again. I don't think you will.
Probably not, but I'm not so sure that he will go to Turkey. Permanently.
But if we're getting game time, I'd imagine that's why they got him.
Really, I think that will depend on how the crowd take to him and what kind of reaction they have to him. Because we all know that Turkey can be very, very dodgy for certain players, especially well, dare I say it, especially,
Black player.
colour. Yeah,
What you
colour.
think? Black player.
There has been known to be, quite a lot of racism in Turkey,
I know.
in the past. But
Like
they're more worse than anyone else, really, to be fair.
Even clubs with a racist contingent, if they've got a black player that's doing brilliant for them, they'll be behind him. Don't worry, they won't have a fucking problem. It's just if he's doing badly and not looking like he's making an effort, then that changes things. But I think he'll do all right. And at the end of the day, I always look at players' welfare as well, not just West Ham's benefit. And Master Waku, he's hardly getting a game at West Ham, and he's not getting any younger. He needs to be playing football, mate. He's a footballer, and hopefully he gets a regular place there and gets some game time behind and starts enjoying it. And that's what I hope for him, because I've got a lot of love for Arthur, even though I don't believe
he's capable of so much more than some people would have you believe. You know what I mean? Okay, look, we won't talk about that goal against Chelsea because he admitted.
Yeah, it was a great goal, mate. He meant that all the way.
It was kind of reminiscent of the Konchesky goal in the 2006 FA Cup final at Cardiff. That was intended as a cross also.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
And Konchesky's admitted that a number of times.
But you'll take it, mate.
You would take it. And the fact that it was quite powerful, that shot, the cross. It was quite powerful, and even though Mendy was going the wrong way, he still got a hand to it. You know what I mean? And couldn't do nothing with it. But we also know that he's capable of a lot more than that. I mean, he's got a lot of speed. See, that's another thing that's kind of surprised me is that, we've lost two powers, two speed players, really. We've lost Fredericks down the right and we've lost Masuaku down the left.
Yeah,
only two players that you can rely on, be 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that kind of baffles me a little bit. Unless Moyes has got, a couple of gazelles lined up, that kind of really surprises me.
Speed or not, I mean, you still got to judge. Obviously, I don't think Fredericks or Masuaku are good enough for us at this stage, right? And what I did like what Gio said about Masuaku is regardless whether he played a game, whether he's on the bench, whether he come on off the bench or not, according to Gio, the social media, he was the first one sort of on there, giving stuff about congratulating the team, what a great result, this and that. Yeah. And that tells me, and when you see the behind the scenes things there, he seems to be a very light guy, a really good part of the dressing room. And I think that's important.
A lot of the players take him as being one of the main characters in the dressing room.
Yeah, and that's lovely. And that builds that team spirit too. Not that you're a main player, even when you're on the bench, he's still part of that team, still part of the team spirit. And I think that's really important. I think not enough people.
Fredericks as well, Cieran. Fredericks was loved in changing rooms by the boys.
Who's that, bud?
Ryan Fredericks.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and look. Also, you were saying that you'd be astounded but you would love us to hit top 10 and be there at the end of the season, didn't you? You said that basically you can't see us getting top 10, but you'd love it if we did. Yeah?
Yeah. I think around 10 is our number at this moment.
And I kind of agree with that a little bit because, by losing Fredericks and, I say losing, by those leaving, by Fredericks and Masuaku leaving and Mark Noble retiring, we've lost 3 really big characters in the changing room.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't change the dynamic in the changing room. Now, we know that Declan Rice is a massive character in the changing room, and hopefully, there are others, and, that will continue. But, there is a massive part of that motivational tool, that that longevity of the club. All 3 of them players, between them, I think it's something like 30 years of service between the 3 of them. All right, 18 years of that is it's not 30 years, is it? 20 years, sorry.
No.
No, it could be close at 30, yeah.
Being in the dressing room is a big part of team play, Budge. It's a big part of building a squad. You don't have to be the best player on that team or on that squad, but if you fit into a dressing room, and I found that myself when I moved to Australia and played on the Gold Coast with players far above my level, but I was good in the dressing room. I was a funny fucker. I was good on the coach going to play games. I fit in really well, you know what I mean? And by the time we went to an away game, I had the team buzzing. I was that sort of character. And I think, but my abilities were nowhere near most of the players I was playing with. But it added, you add to that, the team dynamic, if you like. And we have lost, 3 players, especially with Noble, more so than all of them. But what you hope is like the likes of Schumacher and Flynn Downs and again, replace that, and become part of that squad and that camaraderie. Hopefully that they buy into it. And
Yarmolenko apparently was quite a character in the changing room as well.
Who's that, mate?
Yarmolenko.
Yeah, another one. There's another one, Budgie. Apparently so. Apparently
there seems to be a pattern because, like I've already said, Declan Rice is a character as well. We know that Ben Johnson has got good character and that, he does.
Yeah.
Fabianski's quite a funny guy.
And Fornells is that.
I mean, you can see that when he does his interviews and stuff, and he walks up to the mic and starts singing.
Sometimes, like with Bernatovic, you get an impression of a player on the pitch. But apparently he was fantastic in the dressing room with the players and that. He was great. He was really noble. He was a great bloke to have in the dressing room. And he come out on the pitch, you didn't think he was like that. But apparently he was a real team player. A real good guy. So, just shows you, And like I said, we've noticed in the last 2 seasons the camaraderie that's been built in that team. And it's no surprise that this is what Moyes does, right? It's not just about, superstar individuals. It's about a team ethic. And it's obvious to see. It really is obvious to see.
Agreed. He see with Moyes, not only is he's building that, he's also building a team of players that have got ability as well. And
absolutely.
I mean, look, let's not include Mark Noble in this because he's retired. He's chosen to retire. Fair play to him. He knows when the time's right, and he always said that he would pick and choose his time. Well, that's kind of the impression I got from him, that he would always pick his own time to retire. But even in like Fredericks and Yarmolenko and Masuaku and that, these players are players that, as a fan base, we've not been completely enamoured with over the last few years.
No.
Clearly, Moyes hasn't really been that enamoured with them either. And he is kind of building his own squad again now. You know what I mean? He kind of tried to do what he could with the squad he was he'd inherited, you know, and gradually he's been, you know, moving the players on that he didn't really fancy in his squad, should we say?
No, and that's a natural progression, Budge. But I don't believe that
he's done that over the last sort of 3
he
years,
would.
hasn't he?
Moyes would have recognised their contribution to that team and that squad and that dressing room. He would have recognised that. And you know what I mean?
Giving them a chance to prove why he should keep them.
At the end of the day, he has to put a team out there, and hopefully this year, if we finish spending, we've got a bench that can change a game and influence a game. Where I think that in that last part of last season, we didn't have that. And I'm hoping this year we do. But we still need 3 or 4 more players to make that happen. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it will happen. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so for tomorrow's game then, Cieran, Man City game, Skamaka, starter or bench warmer?
I think he'll be on the bench myself. I don't think he'll get a start. I'll be surprised if he does. I think he'll bring him on. Maybe he might not bring him on, but depending on the result or how the game's going. But I can see 70 minutes Antonio coming off and him coming on. But I do believe it will. The game will dictate that. If we're 3 or 4-0 down, he might not even bother. If we're getting hammered. If it's a tight game and we can still get something out of it, and Antonio's getting tired, yes, let's get that boy on, see if he can make something out. So I think the game will dictate whether he gets on. I don't believe he'll start. I don't know about you, but I can't see him starting.
Areola or Fabianski?
Mate, to me, this is where I have to think about what I think and think about what Moyes will do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, mate. I would start Areola, but with Moyes, I'm going. I'm not sure he will. I still don't know.
Wasn't Areola the first signing that we made this year, even though we had him on loan? Wasn't he the first confirmed signing this year?
I don't know. What do you do? But to me, you've just bought him. You've obviously guaranteed him he's West Ham's future number 1. But is he our future number 1 from this day forward? I don't know. Moyes is a strange beast, isn't he? So
I mean, the thing is, Fabianski has been a great servant, and last season he didn't really give us too much cause for concern. In fact, I think in general last season, we as a fan base were reasonably appreciative of what Fabianski provided for the club, and the way he played. I think David Moyes also was reasonably appreciative of what Fabianski achieved last season, and we know how loyal Moyes is to his players. So
I know.
Do not be surprised if it is Fabianski.
The natural upgrade now, Budge, is to put Areola in.
It is. And in fairness,
I'm still not thinking that's what's going to happen against Man City.
Yeah. But last season, we did exactly what David Moyes wanted us to do in the first half and feared us doing in the second half, which was go out and get yourself a goal. Well, we did that. We got 2 goals. We went 2-0 ahead, and things were looking good. And then all of a sudden, defensively, we started looking very poor. We started leaking passes and stuff and allowing people into the box and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, we're 2-1. And although I don't blame Fabianski for either of the goals, I'm fairly certain that Areola would have got closer to saving the first one than Fabianski did.
But you come to a point that I've always said about goalkeepers, right? I think Fabianski is a really, really good goalkeeper. But there were certain goalkeepers in this league, right? And I'm talking about likes of the Reese De Gea and Edison and Allison, right? They make saves they shouldn't make, right? They shouldn't make, but they do. And it wins points and it wins games or draws games, whatever it may be. I don't think Fabianski does enough for them. You know, he does everything right, but he doesn't make that save that he shouldn't make. And the real top goalkeepers do. And I think De Gea is probably the best at it. Really do.
And Areola does, as we saw in that game, in that Europa game last season when he was going.
And Areola done it, didn't he? Areola made a save that he shouldn't have made. And that's my point. He made a save that he shouldn't have made, and that was the difference for me going forward in that competition and not.
That was in the Sevilla game, wasn't it?
What a save. Great save.
Yeah, that was in the Sevilla game, I believe, wasn't it? The second leg, wasn't it?
Sevilla, yeah, I think it was, mate, yeah. We were going out there. We were going.
Which we then went on to win, but
yeah.
I think you're right. I think, Areola should start, but I believe that he probably will because of his loyalty from David Moyes.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. I don't
know. Anything wrong, isn't it, being honest?
Everything tells you he should start Areola. Everything. But apart from Moyes, you just don't know. But he probably will start Areola, but don't be surprised if they name that team and Fabianski is in there. Don't be surprised.
No. You'll be up and about for the game, won't you, Cieran?
What's that, mate?
You'll be up and around for the game.
Oh, yeah. First game of the season. Yeah, I think it's a 1 o'clock in the morning kickoff for me. But yeah, I'll be up for it, mate. I'll be up for it. Yeah.
If I can get any signal at the stadium, I will give you a little quick, message in that at half time. Send you a couple of videos over if I can get the signal. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, mate. Yeah.
Because I'm meeting up with Reese and Happy, and no doubt we'll meet up with Bose and some of the other regulars. I'm hoping that I'll see Toots. You remember Toots, didn't you? The lad that got hurt at the Leeds game.
Yeah.
And was put on life support and that. I did see him at the which game was that? That was at the Frankfurt home game. I saw him at the station, actually. I saw him at Stratford Station. So, yeah, I'm hoping that he'll be there tomorrow. That'd be nice. Yeah. But, right, Cieran, let's wrap things up a little bit then, because it's 52 minutes now, so 53 minutes. We'll wrap things up. We don't want to go over the hour. Anything you want to add before I wrap it up?
No, mate. I'm just excited about the Premier League getting back as a whole, and just excited to see proper football back on again. I'll be delighted. And I'm just so fed up with this pre-season rubbish because I don't like pre-season, never have, and I'm one of them. I just don't take any notice of it. And so many rumours and links, and it does my head in. So I'm just happy to get back into a season. And if we sign people, it happens. It happens or it don't. And I'm looking forward to whatever signings we do make in the next few weeks, until that window shuts. Oh, man, I'm going to be delighted at every one of them because we do need them. We do need them. And if we get a top one like that Onana, don't mention his name because it won't happen. But if we do get Onana or, a good left back, I'll be over the moon. Over the moon.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. I think also, that we're that close now to the Premier League starting that you can almost hold your breath for it.
Yes.
There's a bit of anticipation for me because obviously I'm going for the first time in probably 35 years or so. I'm going to the first game of the season, which happens to be a home game, and so there's a little anticipation there for me because
Oh, no,
although
you lucky bastard.
I
That
know,
just,
although many years ago I did happen to get to the first game of the season a couple of times. This like now, I'm a lot more invested in the games and that now because of my age. I'm a little more mature. The club that I love has grown so much. The players that we have, our new captain. I mean, this is a brand new era for us. We're going into a brand new era for West Ham, and I love it.
yeah,
Okay, the stadium is not a great football stadium. I will give you that, but it is a great stadium. It gives a great atmosphere for me. It gives me a sense of great atmosphere when I'm there.
like, Budge, I know we've said it before, like me and you are our age. Like I say, it's very hard for us to remember a couple of seasons where we, back to back done really well. And we have already done that. So I say I'd like it to back it up with a third one. I do believe it means more players in the door to do that. But if we don't get the players we want and the amount of bodies in, I just think that Conference League this year could be really exciting. I'd love us to go full blast for that, win it, and then we're in for another season of European football. That's what
That'd be
it
nice,
takes.
wouldn't
I'm not confident that we'll get European football from the league this year. That's the only caveat.
Yeah, I kind of understand that.
But that
And I
Conference
like what you
League
mentioned.
is a way into Europa again, and I want
Yeah.
us to win it. I
I
want us to
mean,
go.
like we've mentioned before on, live streams that we've been on and stuff. The fact that we are in the Europa Conference League and we did get to the semi-final and we were close in the semi-final. It weren't like it was ripped away from us. It was
No,
gently taken from us, if you like. In
it's a
like
better team
in
on
the
the day.
score, it wasn't a massive gulf in the game.
No, just a better
So
team on the day.
on that, it gives me confidence that because that is a much harder competition to be in, and we got to the semi-final and done very well in that semi-final.
No,
I believe that
that's it.
on that we should do better in this competition. So
Well,
I'm suggesting that we should reach
why
the
not?
final.
Why not? Why not? Why can't we?
And
We
if
can.
we do, there's absolutely no reason why we can't win it.
That's right. And I think we should focus, make sure that we do. And if we do, if we get into that final, mate, I don't care if we finish 8th or 15th. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is putting the trophy on the board for all the fans and getting back into Europe next year. And I think that's our best opportunity. I really do.
Agreed. And on that note, Cieran, we'll thank everybody for watching this. I want to thank you again for joining me. Don't worry, guys. The Bert and Ernie show will still be happening on Green Street Elite from time to time. Please like and subscribe to West Ham Random if you haven't already. Like and subscribe to Green Street Elite if you haven't done already. Watch out for Cieran and I on various shows and streams. And until next week when we do the next Football Unfocused, take care. We'll let you know how the game went if you won't already know, which you will. Let's go for a good game tomorrow at the London Stadium against Man City. Opening game of the 2022-23 season. Come on, you Irons.
Have it.